Good morning, everyone. My name is Jonathan. I'm the head of enterprise for Activeo APAC, and I will be your host for today. Thanks for joining this session. We will talk about frictionless customer experience this morning, optimizing your customer journey for an effortless experience. And thank you for our longtime partner, ServiceNow, to be with us presenting. So before we start, do note that you have been muted upon entry. You can use the Q&A session to ask any question during the session. We will answer some of them via chat, and we will save some of the question to answer live at the end of the session. So stay with us. We plan to finish this session around 12:15 today. So let's start. And before I hand over to Rosalind, our VP of Business Transformation, I wanted to share why Activeo like to present those type of content. We are a technology company, part of Toku Group, a group that specializes in driving customer service, customer experience, business outcomes with the help of technology, obviously. So today, the business outcomes that we want to talk about is less friction and less effort for your customers. Doesn't mean less effort for you and for your enterprise, unfortunately, because to really implement an effortless customer experience, it takes a lot of energy to companies today. And that's why we work closely with large enterprise and government organizations to help them to drive those changes. Activeo position itself as a one-stop shop solution and one-stop shop partners to address strong consulting, to address all the needs for a strong consulting practice. We drive business objectives and best practices together with your team. Return of investment is something that is also very important for us. So whenever it's suitable, we also like to start small, experiment with you, and grow together, scale together, as what we implement is successful for your organization. So I really hope that you will have a good time and an insightful session with us this morning. Ross, over to you. Please show us the path for a frictionless customer experience.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Hi. Thank you, Jonathan. My name is Rosalind. I'm actually a contact center charge in Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and two months ago, I was in Jakarta as well for the Indonesia contact center. So that was an interesting experience. Today, I'm happy to go on this topic to share a little bit more the various different points on agentless contact center or agentless contact center that you are looking at, playing on a pun here. And I'll be sharing a story with some points that I hope that it will help you taking it back to your team or your management. And as part of this, I would also be launching a few polls, quick polls to ask you to participate. Very easy polls to help me understand what you're thinking about and also to drive the story that I'll be sharing later. So there'll be a story that I'm talking about, some points that we use in our business transformation, how we use our consulting to drive our customers' business objective in digitalizing their contact center. And also, I hope that I can give you some tips and also a use case that I'll be sharing further. So without further ado, I'll start off with a poll that I have. Okay, this is the first poll. How do you want your contact center to look like in the next 5 to 10 years? So there's only two options, A or B. So the first one is entirely agentless. Okay, so you don't want any humans at all when you're serving the customers, whether is it, what channels that you're using. The second one is you're moving towards a scenario with fewer agents. So, and most of your folks, really will be behind the scenes, more of the business analytical team, validating the specific AI tasks or the automation that you're looking at for each of the customer contact that you are looking to drive. So an example, like, I'm seeing more and more simplified version of, recently I did a credit card waiver through a chatbot, and that was very, very easy. Immediately I got my card waiver within like 2 seconds, from the time I submitted. So this is what an example that we are looking at of moving towards the scenario. But there will still be an agent that is involved in some of the contact center points that you are serving with the customer. Aha, great. Well, thank you very much, guys. I see that, are we able to flash this result? It's already flashed. Okay, sorry, I can't see the results. But what we are seeing here is 86% of you guys are looking at the scenario of B, which is excellent. And that's what we are looking at. So let me continue my next slide. Okay, so again, A is really what all it's about, all the bots and so on, and B is the collaboration effort. So moving forward, since all of us, as I predicted, we are choosing B, I'm not going to go through this chart, by the way. It's just something that I found that I feel that it was very good in trying to tell us, why humans are sometimes better and why sometimes the technology or the machines are better in this case. And when should we be looking at a collaboration between what kind of CX context, what kind of questions that the customers is coming to you. And for simple things such as, the credit card waiver that I shared earlier, it can be easily done by a bot. But of course, again, the humans are behind the scenes making sure that these are all working as planned. Okay, moving forward, I have another poll. In the last 6 months, did you encounter any customer experience with something, whether is it people, process, or technology, was supposed to work as, did not work as planned, or it was down? So can I have a quick one there? In the last 6 months, did you have any encounters? I'll give you an example. I was in the Kopitiam the other day trying to use my FairPrice app to pay because it was 10% discount if you use the app. And I have to be, and I don't know, basically it was quite not a very good moment for that half an hour. The app was entirely down. We tried different apps and it didn't seem to work. And from my parents who heard that, this was not working, their first instance was very negative, like, my God, Kopitiam has a very good strategy, they purposely made it down so that, we are paying 10% more. Really, this was the first thing that my dad says. And it was very, very negative for that 30 minutes, And I don't know what to say, but I kept quiet and, dinner continued. So, wow, that's quite a lot of people because I made some questions, with my team and nobody else had any service down in my team. And I was the only one the last few months that had quite a lot of cases where system was down or something was down. Okay, great. 92% of us had an experience. Okay, I'm not going to ask what experience you have, but what happens here next is that I'm going to share a story, okay, starting off. I'm sure a lot of us did a lot of online shopping, and 11/11 is coming, not that I'm trying to promote, but there will be a lot of shopping coming in the next 2 days. Customer receive a purchase from Shopee for 4 pairs of shoes. Now, before we start, I just want to quickly share that I purchased 4 pairs of shoes, all right, a few months back. And we're not going to go through the ordering process. I'm just going to tell you at the end what happened. I received 4 pairs of shoes from Shopee, okay, from a brand that I bought. And I've decided, out of 4, 2 pairs are not something that I really like. It didn't fit very well, so I decided to return 2 pairs. And I went to the Shopee app. So for the guys, maybe you're not so familiar with Shopee, but if you are, you know that you can raise via Shopee app to arrange for a return or a refund. And they will be asking you, so how do you want to return your shoes? In this case, they're very big boxes. Okay, 2 full big boxes that I have to return. So I've decided to choose the option to go to the nearest pop station to drop off the package. So if you don't know, pop stations are around the island. You choose the one that you want. There are various options. They allow you to choose whether you want them to pick up, you want to drop it off at somewhere else, or you want to go to a pop station. And this is where I decided to go for. And 4 days later, actually, I forgot to return. So there was a message from WhatsApp, from Shopee, asking me, hey, please make sure that you return, because this is what, in order to process your refund, we need you to return this within this period. and this is your code, and blah, blah, blah. So thanks to the reminder, which was obviously automated by Shopee, in this case, I've decided to go and return before I forget again the next day. Now, what happened was here, there was an option where I'm just going to give you 4 different options, okay, in this case. It's also going to be a quick poll. You will either go to the, I was at the branch, okay, going to the Shopee station, to the pop station. And thereafter, at the branch itself, they actually told me that the pop station is down. So since the pop station is down, as a customer, at that point in time, I have a few options, A, B, C, or D. So either for the option A, I could actually join the all services queue that is physical right in front, but in front of me, I can see a long queue. So I'm not so sure yet. Option B, I can find a pop station nearby, but then I do not know how far is the next one. Option C, I can go home or travel to the next destination, but I have a huge package and I have a meeting coming up with a client. Okay. Option D is where I will call or contact Shopee or SingPost in this case to complain. I put in some options of an outcome that I feel that could happen, depending on which option that I go for. And these are some of the processes that was going in my brain during that time when I was there, when the agent or the retail staff was telling me, oh, pop station is down. And when I asked when it will be up, not sure. Is there other places? Don't know. And when I asked if the all services queue is going to help me, they are not sure as well. They just said you try, okay, if you would like to. There is a poll for this as well. So I don't know about you, but I'm going to share with you what happened very quickly. It's a very funny story, but somehow I have all the funny, odd stuff. Wow. Very surprising. There's A, B, C, and D. And there's so many people who went for C and D. And nobody went for A. Okay. I'm not sure, but I guess the physical queue of the long thing put you off, right? Okay. That was like processing for me as well. Okay. Now, going forward. Okay, this is what it shows on my phone. This is an actual screenshot that I have. Okay. The return and refund details. So I did my return. I'm going to tell you what I did. And this was what happened. From a customer point of view, the details were very clear, to me on this mobile app, from Shopee, and what I returned, the amount, and the setting and the expectation that it will take 5 to 10 working days. And the last thing is for me to rate the return and refund experience. In this case, this experience was a collaborated experience with a partner, which is SingPost in this case. SingPost, whichever pop station that they were using, and whether they have, I'm not sure who they work with on the pop station. And there's another integration again in this case that is resulting and affecting my experience stars. So my experience was 5-star. Why? Because surprisingly, I decided to go for option A and try my luck, guys. I went back here and went for option A and decided to try the all services queue because true, it was very long, but I can see it was moving. So in that 5 minutes, while I was thinking through A, B, C, or D and checking out other pop stations, thinking of my next appointment, what time, how am I going to come back again the next day if I have the time and chance, I decided, okay, I have 30 minutes. Let me try my luck if it works. And if it does not work, then I have to go for option B or C or D. And the good news is that the all services counter was very confident and said, no problem, you have the information, you have the code, I'm able to process for you right away. And because of this, I was able to give this 5-star. But, as you guys have chosen B, C, or D, if it did not work, I don't think in this case, this rating would be 5-star. It would be at least 4, 3, 2, or 1 even. Because you would have thought that option A is actually dampening on your service experience, right? Okay, enough of this. But I thought that, as part of being a CX expert, I was thinking, how else, if this escalated scenario, if A didn't work, how could it be better managed or further automated from an enterprise point of view? whether is it coming from Shopee or whether is it coming from SingPost in this case. Number one is what I thought, SingPost ensure that all the services counter are able to process, which is what they did. But one of the loophole was that the agent, the person on site, was not able to give me that confidence while she directed me to the all services queue that they can actually do it. It was the folks who was doing it, told me very confidently, no problem. Okay, it would have been managed better. Number two, Shopee proactively alerts the customer via WhatsApp because they have given me a reminder via WhatsApp, right? It would have been great if they had told me, for example, hey, FYI, if you're coming down, that the pop stations are down, and give me an option for the return. That would have been saving me probably a lot of more seamless and customer pain points in this case. And I would have actually thought, wow, Shopee is doing such a great job. And in future, if this refund return process is so easy and it gave me so many proactive updates, I would continue to buy from them, versus other shopping platforms. I put a question mark for 3 because these are just my thoughts. What about yours? What goes back if in your case, your company, you have such a broken portion in your experience where it may not be a result of your own processes. It could be an integration with another partner that you have or something else. So this is just food for thoughts, okay? And just to a point to share that customers don't contact you because they want to. In this case, as you can see, many of you chose D, you just want to complain because it was down. So they do it because they have to. Okay, moving next, I just wanted to quickly drive a point on a methodology that we use in our consulting, where we support our customers, the frictionless, portion where we try to drive with understanding, assigning priorities with our customers, in this case on the left, and the center part where after you understand, assign priorities, we are looking at what kind of strategic actions that you want to do in your digital transformation journey, or you can call it an agent-less journey that you're trying to drive. In this case, I'm going to share with you a use case of a customer where they have looked at their internal business objectives, and they are looking at eliminating some parts of it and digitizing, their journey, their customer experience, and how did they do that? Okay. This is a client that we have in the media and publisher company industry. So they were looking at refreshing a very old contact center solution. You can read. I'm not going to go through in further details. I'm just going to highlight that they were able to migrate 90 over hotlines. They were connecting within 2 months from a legacy CRM system. So this is a deployment of a AWS Connect for the telephony portion and the backend for the agents, and with ServiceNow customer management. Okay, and I'm going to share with you a few examples of what we did. These are, in terms of this case study, this is the pain points. You can see on the left, this was what the customer had in terms of their pain points. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm going to let you read it. And then after what ServiceNow has implemented, this was some of the things that they have been able to achieve. They, for example, using ServiceNow, they were also able to use this Amazon Connect telephony system. There is no need to have 2 different systems in this case because it's embedded into ServiceNow. And they were able to streamline many workflows. And on top of that, they have a single source of truth, of the customer data. All right. So these are the various different points to share. We'll go straight into an example. I have some screenshots to share with you guys. Okay. So for example, I know a lot of users like myself. If I'm you, I'll be wondering, okay, how does it look like? For my agents, how is it easy? How does it look? In stage 1, pretending that your agent, so this is on the back end. This is what your agents see when they're receiving. So they're logged into ServiceNow, which is the agent workspace. And on the right, you can see an agent soft phone that is embedded, that is using Amazon Connect. Okay. And then stage 2, you have the incoming call ringing on the agent desktop. And thereafter, this is what you see. Okay, as an example on the right. You can see the telephone number and the call that is ringing through. Thereafter, agent receives the call and goes about updating the case with the right information. And as the pop-up comes on, the case, and you can see here where we have a demo screenshot where it shows you, what is the case type, what is the category, any subcategories, what is the account, what is the customer name, what is the state, and so on and so forth, while you are talking to the customer. Okay. Further on, finally, we end the call and the interaction is auto-closed. So in this case, on the agent side, they could actually hang up the call, and this is what it shows. Moving forward, I just want to share that in terms of the Amazon Connect, AWS Connect in this case, this is how it shows when the call is routed to the agent to accept or reject. And then when the call is connected, this is what it shows on the call controls. And then thereafter, when the call is connected, this is what it shows as well. Okay. We're going to just show you very quickly how, in this case, another customer was looking at streamlining or leveraging and preempting using ServiceNow with another omni-channel contact. This is actually planted on SPH website. So hence, I'm showing exactly what it looks like. So from a ServiceNow aspect, they have an omni-channel for live chat. And this is what is being shown on the front. If you are an SPH customer, you can try it. But don't do too much of it, okay? Otherwise, my customer is getting a lot of inquiries today. Okay, and this is what it can be done very easily. Okay, the subcategories that you can choose. And then thereafter, this is a demo site that will show you what you see on the back end to receive from your agent. And you can see on the left, there is an accept or reject button. And then once you've accepted it, on the left, you can see where the chat is coming to you as an agent and where the shop description is showing you, what it is all about. Okay. And finally, I just want to kind of wrap up in the next 2 minutes, that choosing a technology should come from your objective of where you're trying to drive your contact center strategy with your management. If you're looking at a technology where you are listing, all the features that you have on the right, and then looking at it from that point of view, the percentage of it should be, I would say that the first thing you want to look at is more of the problems that you want to solve. And then you talk about the features. A lot of times I know that companies, you're looking at your budget from the right-hand side, but we should actually be looking more on the problems that you want to resolve, which comes back again from the CX contact reasons that your customers are trying to face or going to face, whether how complex it is, what is it that can be automated, what can be seamless, and why is it happening at the end of the day. And I just want to summarize to share that, please be clear about your enterprise driving forces between what you're trying to drive an agentless or agentless CC, whether is it because of the less labor force, they're preferring self-service, and so on and so forth. And what are the key technologies that you can look at? There are chatbots involved, there's conversational AI, there's authentication automation, there's real-time agent assist, and all these. There are so many new things that are coming out and a lot of use cases that you can learn about and understand that's happening right now. So on the right is what I'm sharing, that if you have decided, based on your objectives that you're trying to drive, please do go through with a proof of technology first, and then looking at your proof of concept. Lastly, your proof of value after that, and then you do the formal deployment. This should be something that you're looking at for all your, when you're trying to drive your agentless contact center strategy for any technology or anything, but it all comes back, to what you're trying to drive with your customers at the end of the day. How seamless do you want it to be? And how we can constantly improve with more complex scenarios to try and drive and make it a lesser pain for both the customer and the company. Okay, and I think that's all I have. Moving forward, I will pass this on to YY from ServiceNow.
Okay, thank you, Roslyn. It was really a very interesting topic that we covered. Now I know that I'll actually go and buy more from Shopee instead of Lazada moving forward, right? And also at the same time, I'm also very guilty to the fact that a lot of conversations with our customers is along the lines of how can features help to fulfill what we can do as a stopgap. But as mentioned by Roslyn, the main idea here is how to go with the problem-solving context to help to resolve the problems that you have on hand, right? So for today, the second part of this section, I'm YY. I'm from ServiceNow. I'm a customer workflow specialist, means that I'm specialized in customer service experience with my customers. I cover a regional role across the different regions for ASEAN, and that's what I've been doing with my customers, right? So for this topic itself, in terms of optimizing your customer journey for an effortless experience, I'll be showing you on how can we do it with ServiceNow itself, okay? But first of all, we always have to go into the safe harbor statement. So if you are really interested in ServiceNow and want to purchase it, this is just a slide to say that make your purchase decisions on what is being shown today, but not on the future roadmap. All right. So this is just a standard statement. So for the agenda, we'll be breaking down into three parts. I'll be helping you understand from a point of view of a contact center from a ServiceNow lens itself. The second part for the session itself will be going into unleashing the contact center innovation with ServiceNow. If you don't know, ServiceNow is one of the top few performing companies in terms of innovation. We spend a good 25% of our budget on innovation every single year. And that's how you can see why our share price is going crazy since yesterday itself, right? So just to let you know, that's what's happening. And the third part of this whole section itself will be on the generative AI, which is a very hot topic that a lot of customers are interested in. I'll be showing you a short form of a demo on how the existing generative AI features on ServiceNow has been helping customers itself. All right. So let's start off with contact center with ServiceNow. So when we look into conversations with our customers right now, specifically on the business goals that they're trying to achieve, if you have to go into the right-hand side of what you are seeing here, a lot of customers are actually looking into these top three in terms of how can we grow the business as a top priority in growing revenue faster than growing costs. This is one of the key things that, especially I've interacted with my customers, this is one of the top priorities for that. And the reason why we are talking about this is important is the fact that whenever we try to resolve a problem, at the same time, we need to justify why we are doing this, right? Right now, I'm telling you that the top three things that we see from customers are the reasons why they are doing to justify for this transformation itself. So firstly, we'll be growing the business. Secondly, when I look into it, will be on improving operational excellence. We understand that budget is dropping, but we still need to improve the excellence in terms of the contact centers that customers are facing. And last but not least, one of the key topics that we have is in terms of how can we execute business transformation, right? So with these three key business goals are the main things that a lot of customers that I've spoke to are interested in. And that is when normally when we start with problem solving context, that's how we go into it. How do you want to grow the business moving forward? Especially, I'll give you an example where I spoke to one of the telcos in Thailand. Okay, there's only a few left. So they are actually looking into how can we transform everything into an upsell motion itself. How can we use chatbot to do more upselling motion and using agents to do more complex kind of quoting itself from there. It's no longer just serving the customers itself. So, and this is also a use case that is not just internal customer service. They also have outsourced customer service teams that have to work together to help to push that forward. So that is where we start beginning this transformation process to how can we actually grow the business moving forward. So that is one of the key things that we can look into. And because of that, we will look into that itself. The past decade, what we have seen from a lot of customers is that we have focused on transforming the digitalizing effort on the front end itself. How can we capture more cases into a platform or into contact center for us to resolve? But the main problem here is that we are not able to resolve all of this from a level 1 contact center standpoint. There is always more complex use cases. For example, the part that Roslyn talked about on billing. Sometimes you require some back-end people to come in and resolve. And that is where the whole process of what's happening causes a lot of inefficiencies due to the manual routing in between departments to get this sorted. And this leads to poor experience for your customers. And this is not something that we want to achieve moving forward right now. Okay. So with that itself, how are we able to transform this whole process itself is looking into AI in contact centers. Right, there's a lot of different boxes I can see on the screen, but if you really divide the AI into a 3 parts, context would be on the front end, how can we use advanced speech recognition, voice biometrics, real-time translation, speech analytics, or even sentiment analysis to help you to get the context of the case easily. That's the first part of the equation that we are trying to resolve here, right? Once we have those contexts, that is when you are able to achieve your self-service with AI-powered chatbots to help to deflect off the first level service itself, right? And when it gets a bit more complex, where you need to get in your agents to come to resolve, that is when you need intelligent routing in contact centers and also real-time response suggestions like recommended actions or even generating knowledge articles immediately to resolve the customer's problem with the context you have actually gathered by the machines at the front end itself. And last but not least, after we resolve it, using predictive analytics for you to help to understand what has happened for the past, let's say past day itself, the number of cases that we have faced, how are we going to resolve it moving forward? So that is when we look at AI, it's being split into these 3 parts to help you to actually resolve your customer problem at a much shorter time, bringing value to them a lot faster, right? So with that itself, this is how we look at the AI in contact center. Now we're going to go to help you understand how does this work with ServiceNow itself, right? So in this case, when we look at ServiceNow, and when we talk about getting the context from the front end, that is when we work with a lot of CAS. When we say CAS is contact center as a service, like for example, Genesys or Amazon Connect or even TalkDesk, all these different software that helps you to get in the case or interaction with the customer. That's when we integrate with them to get that into the ServiceNow platform, right? And the console that you see here is the workspace where the agent will actually start to see what are the different messages that's coming in, what's the voice pop-up that Rosalind showed just now, how can we interact with the customer to resolve their problem on the spot. And that is where ServiceNow comes in to help you with that itself. So if you think about it, in the previous diagram, we showed you that we are able to take in a lot of different cases from the different channels. But more importantly, with ServiceNow itself, we are able to help you get the context of a case via the different channel, for example, on Amazon Connect via phone. And then that's when the agents will help to pick up the case to help to resolve it accordingly. It's something that's a lot more complex, where we are trying to resolve that messy middle to get the right people to help to resolve the problem. That is when intelligent workflows come into place to help me to direct it to the right people to work on it. And that's when we can help to resolve the case a lot faster than usual. Right, and one key thing that is actually very unique on ServiceNow is how do we look at proactive service. Remember the Rosalind example that we talk about when we go to Kopitiam and then after that, the machine is down, right? The first thing, the reaction came to place is that I want the company want me to get a 10% more charge than usual. But that's not the case, right? But if the fact that if you want to do a more proactive service, let's say if the POS is down at Kopitiam, with ServiceNow itself, you are able to proactively send a notification to the customer. Whether is it through a WhatsApp or the online channels that they prefer or SMS, that's when they will get a notification saying that our POS machine is down, do forgive us for it. So this kind of messaging helps to give a better experience to customer from them moving forward. And this is why ServiceNow is being differentiated in both the proactive service, intelligent workflows, and the ability to work with multiple CAS vendors to help to self-service and deflect cases on the front end itself. And that's the value that we bring to a lot of customers that I work with on a daily basis. All right. So to help you understand in terms of architecture, just a brief one. The workspace is the one that the agent will be working on, and the self-service capabilities, and let's say the customer channels from Amazon Connect or Genesys, that's when they can take on in from that moving forward. Okay. So for example, as mentioned before, the collaboration between ServiceNow platform on the console and CARES partners as the intake for all the different channels. We are the ones that are in charge of the workflow and the workspace to resolve it. And while the CARES partners is in charge of the telephony and the workforce engagement itself, means the scheduling of the time slots or the shifts accordingly, this could be done on the different partners accordingly, right? So in the case of Amazon Connect, as you can see very clearly, is that Amazon Connect will be taking on the telephony system to help to take on the cost accordingly, whether it's a voice bot or IVR, that will be handled by them. And the analytics and insights of their workforce could be handled from the Amazon standpoint. What we will do is to get those data into ServiceNow using intelligent workflows to automate it, and a workspace with the recommended actions and the context to serve the customer from there, right? So that's how we look at it. And one of our customers in the F&B retailer was able to actually benefit from that. I won't be going through all the details, but the key idea here is to look into that. They have a lot of complex, disparate workflows that they have internally, especially in the retail space. When you talk about offline, online connection, how can we do the refunds? This is a very complex process. And that is when they use ServiceNow to help to automate that workflow to get to the right team to service the customer immediately from there, right? And they also help to achieve that 1 million self-serve customers on the portal itself to save time and effort for this F&B retailer moving forward. Okay, so that's the whole part on the point of view with ServiceNow itself. What I'm going to bring you is the more exciting part, which is how do we look at transforming the innovation and vision with ServiceNow itself, right? So to help you understand, what we are trying to do here is to actually move towards, if you guys remember what Roslyn talked about, there is both the what we call agentless experience, and also at the same time, fewer agents will help to automate and resolve the problems accordingly, right? The next video I'm going to show you is actually helping you to understand the first part. How can we look into the far future? Okay, not far future, maybe 5 years down the road. How can we look at automating the front end to self-deflect a lot of cases through a voice bot itself? And that is achieved with the collaboration with NVIDIA from there. So you can see, the next video is focusing on this first part where customers can get instant answers and actions via conversation, via self-service conversation, right? That's the first video. And then thereafter that, we'll go into the second part on how can you use Gen AI or Now Assist to help you service the customers better from a workspace perspective. So let's see.
So this is a customer service example, and we know that our customers want to deliver seamless customer support, especially in the moments that matter. So imagine you're home and your Wi-Fi is moving incredibly slowly. It's down to a crawl and you're the presenter in a critical meeting. You need service immediately. I need to contact customer support right now to see if I can upgrade. Now, normally I do this on my mobile phone. This is a live demo, so I'm going to be talking to customer support through this headset right here.
Hi, Amy. I'm your ServiceNow assistant. How can I help you?
I'm having a hard time downloading files and my internet is sluggish. Can you help?
I can see that your Wi-Fi service is working correctly. However, you have the 150 megabits per second package, the slowest connection speed we offer. Would you like to upgrade?
Yes, give me the fastest connection you have.
I can upgrade you to our highest speed of 800 megabits per second, which costs $60 per month for 1 year. You can save $60 a year, 1 month for free. If you choose this service for the next 2 years.
Sounds good. I'll take that 2-year package.
I have a credit card on file and can process the upgrade right away. Is it okay if I use the credit card ending in 6304?
Yes.
I have upgraded your service immediately. Enjoy the fastest Wi-Fi we have. Thanks for choosing me to help you today. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
That was it.
Yep. So you have seen actually in the video just now, it's something that we are working on right now. But the main idea here is that we do want to be able to move towards that direction ultimately to help to actually resolve cases right at the start via a bot itself and a very interactive and live bot itself from there. And that is with the collaboration with NVIDIA. And the video that you just saw is actually from what we call a knowledge event that happens every single year, where we release the newest updates of the innovations that happens every single year on what we have done. And this is very specific on how can we actually do instant answers and actions via conversational self-service from the front end itself to deflect that accordingly. And that is only achievable when you have all the information into the ServiceNow platform to be able to help with that bot you saw just now to reply to those cases or requests accordingly, right? So that is what we can do on the front end. The next part that I'm going to go into would be specifically on the second part, contact center and service desk itself, right? How can we empower your agents to be able to resolve the cases a lot faster, right? That's when we go into what we call the AI agents itself, okay? So when we look into the AI agents, just think of it that, I'm not sure if you guys like Marvel as a topic, but I always describe AI agents as a topic in Iron Man. Just think of Iron Man, he always has a good friend called Jarvis, right? So in this case, Jarvis is the AI agent to that of Tony Stark in Iron Man to help him with all the requests that he always throw at him at any time. And that is how we look at AI agents on ServiceNow too. A specific, I would say, best of helper in all case to resolve, give you a context to resolve the case accordingly. And that is when we go into a contact center service desk, and we call it the Now Assist on ServiceNow to help guide the agents to resolve their problems accordingly. So let's go into the next part on how does AI agents help to resolve cases with our customer service in the option B that Roslyn spoke just now.
I am so excited to announce ServiceNow AI agents. ServiceNow AI agents unlock 24/7 productivity at scale across hundreds of use cases in IT, customer service, procurement, HR, and software development. You can easily create AI agents tailored to your business that learn alongside you. And these AI agents are always under your control, working with you, not just for you. And of course, this is all built with the ServiceNow platform, natively and securely leveraging your data, workflows, and integrations. Let me show you AI agents in action. This is Audrey, an experienced customer service expert. When Audrey starts her day in ServiceNow, she's presented with a summary of the work that she oversees, including ongoing cases and a live customer satisfaction score for her team. At the top of the screen, there's a summary of her case assignments. There's also a team of AI agents. These agents take care of the less engaging, repetitive tasks, freeing Audrey up to concentrate on more strategic work. As she begins her work, a card pops up with a timely case alert from an AI agent that needs her attention. Audrey clicks on the card and is taken to the case details where she sees that it's a basic support case for a high-frequency hardware issue around internet connectivity. The AI agent provides an update with all the steps already taken using skills like summarizing a knowledge article, analyzing similar cases, and generating email summaries. The AI agent has completed most of the tasks needed to resolve this issue, but it needs Audrey's approval to approve a free modem replacement for a loyal customer. Audrey recognizes that providing a free modem is a good way to improve customer satisfaction, and she approves the recommendation. The AI agent asks Audrey if it should update the discount policy. Audrey says yes, and the AI agent automatically updates the knowledge article. Think about the power of what that AI agent just did in assisting Audrey. It correctly and autonomously completed several customer service steps and suggested a new discount policy to increase customer satisfaction, letting Audrey focus on tasks that only she can solve.
Okay, so what you've actually just seen was actually the AI agents, which is what we call AI agents / Now Assist, to be able to help agents in terms of resolving their cases from there, right? That's the Gen AI part that we've been talking about. And to help you understand, AI agents is not a future roadmap. Inside what Roslyn spoke about just now in option B, this is already doable with AI agents on ServiceNow right now itself, right? How can we help to solve problems from the agent workspace much faster in this case? The first video that you saw just now, in terms of having the bot to help you respond accordingly, that is one of the future roadmap that we're going into in the future, just to help frame the audience's mindset from there. So with that itself, I'm going to continue into the last part of the section with ServiceNow. I'm actually a lot faster than usual, right? In this part, it will be on the last part on generative AI. So using ServiceNow Now platform and generative AI, what are the newer innovations that we talk about Now Assist? You can actually see on the platform right now in a demo perspective itself. Okay, so do understand that in this generative AI, there are 3 parts that we are going to go into. Firstly is how can we use generative AI to help to do self-service better. I'll be going through a few functions in that in terms of intelligent search for answers through knowledge articles. And the second part will be going into the workspace. How can we resolve problems better with some of the tips and tricks on Gen AI in the workspace itself, right? And that's really part of the things from here, right? So what you're seeing right now in the demo is actually the portal itself, where we are going into the self-service portal, right? In this case, we have a theft coverage question from a customer, right? So the customer types in the question and do a quick search from here. The common problem that you will have facing in the current portals itself is the fact that you have to look to, I would say 10 to 20 is a bit too much. My patience is very bad, maybe 3 to 4. Looking into 3 to 4 knowledge articles, I wouldn't be able to find my answers. In the end, I still have to go into a virtual agent, chatbot, or transfer to agent to get my problem solved. But in this case, what Now Assist intelligent search does is that it will help me go through all the different knowledge articles and give me a summary of the answers of what can be done to resolve my problem accordingly. What this does is that the customers wouldn't have to go through the wastage of time to find an answer. This will give them a good understanding of what it is from here moving forward, right? So that is part 1 of what Gen AI can do very easily to save time for your customers from there. Right, the next part is that self-service, besides intelligent search in knowledge articles, there's also what we call the chatbot or virtual agent on ServiceNow. Right, so what you're seeing here is that it's a casual question of a customer asking, what is Solana Secure into a chat standpoint, right? In this case, I would be typing the message that I want to order a security camera, hoping that I can get my request being fulfilled through this part of it. And that's when I can start to create a request or sign up through a form to say that I'm interested to buy a camera itself. So what's happening in this case is that when you look into this whole thing, I'm actually doing this whole sales process or upselling motion in a chatbot from here through a specific form that I've actually created on the ServiceNow backend. And because of the natural language processing that we can do from English and the different languages that I'm looking into, we are able to key in, for example, second option, right? When you key in second option, it will just identify what is the second option that's on this list and help to choose the stuff accordingly. So you look at it, this is quite intelligent, understanding that the second option is home security camera. I'm looking into a home camera TXL, right? And with that, I will select the next part of the date for installation, right? So once again, I just have to type in the date itself. And all of this will be processed through a chatbot accordingly, capture these answers, and thereafter that, I just need to apply a promo code as a customer to get this purchase settled from here. This is a simplified use case that we see from an upsell motion. I do understand from a customer standpoint yourself, there will be more complex, but that is just a tiny little hint on what we can do from a self-service standpoint, right? So with that, let's say I would say change it to a higher speed for this camera itself, right? And once all this has been done, I want to, example, connect to a live agent from here. So that is where we have actually shown the ability to go from self-service, from a Gen AI perspective, into the workspace, right? So in this workspace, that's when I will take on the request coming from the customer in accepting the case. right? When you look at the item just now, you see different interactions on the left. That is the inbox that we talk about, where we can help to handle all the different cases that's coming in. Right, so in this case itself, when you look at it, this is the workspace where I'm taking on the chat on the left-hand side. You can also see generative AI is happening right now. Based on the whole history that we have talked with that chatbot, I am able to get a chat summarization immediately for a context for an agent to work on immediately. Instead of reading maybe a good 1 minute to understand to reply, I give you a summary from here. Right, so in this case, let's say the moment I actually come into here, I want to be able to help respond to the customer immediately. Immediately with Now Assist again, I can generate a reply to say that, hey, happy to help to reply accordingly with whatever context that you have, and then reply that messages from here, right? So that is where you are able to show the ability to understand the context, and at the same time, the system actually give you a contextualized answer to reply back to the customer. You look at it, my agent is not doing anything. My agent is just clicking through the motion to help to respond accordingly, right? So in this case, what I have done is help to respond to customer, and I do want to transfer this, for example, to another agent to help me to resolve that accordingly. And that is when I try to get in Amanda Lopez to help to resolve the case. But there's always a problem. You think about it. First level agent got the case, reply, I get in another person. The second person will be equally lost when trying to resolve this. And that is when Amanda will straight away be able to take on the case where it's routed to their bot. And then from here, you are able to see again a chat summary by using the Gen AI functions to summarize the chat, right? So with that, I can have a good understanding of the context of the case and start working on it, right? So you can see here, once again, the chat has been summarized for us to resolve this accordingly. And that is when using generative AI to get the context will be important to help resolve the case from here. Right, so let me just end off the chat from inside here, and we go into the next part on how can we actually resolve the case a lot faster with all the context that we have. So in this case, let's just go into a specific case inside here for payment method change itself, right? So this is where you can look at the whole case console on ServiceNow. On the right-hand side, you see the AI going into play, like giving you, example, recommended actions on what can we do to help to resolve the case accordingly. Is it an offer suggestion? Can be attaching a Grab voucher and things like that. That's very common in the Asia context itself, or payment method change that's needed based on what's been reported on the context for this case. On the top, you also see, on the top and left-hand side, this is what we call the playbooks. Playbooks is typically, just think of it as a workflow automation. Any single steps you want to automate, that is where we are able to help you guide through the steps to resolve, or even automate integrations to different systems to get the resolution and put that into the case itself. And that is how we look into resolving cases on the ServiceNow platform. Right, in this case itself, what I'm trying to do here is to compose a specific email to respond to the customer as an offline follow-up itself. And once again, I can use generative AI to help me to actually achieve the writing of this email, saving time for me as an agent to resolve the case itself or reply to the case, right? So that's why I can use Gen AI to help me reply into those emails accordingly. So what I cover is mainly on the chat and the email inside this using generative AI, right? So now what I'm going to go into is to also go into discuss mode. So during a case itself, we also know that in contact center, there are ways in which we have to collaborate with multiple parties, right? And that's when I can start a discussion where it's an internal collaboration tool to communicate with the agents itself. If you do need to integrate with Teams, like to actually fire off a Teams chat into another agent or Slack channel, you are able to do so using this integrated function with discussion on ServiceNow. Right? So that is really it from this standpoint. I think the last thing I want to dive into would be, I think quite cool, would be on the knowledge article generation. So when you look at it, there are a lot of different knowledge articles that we can do. But how do we create the right knowledge article to resolve a case if there isn't anything in the first place? That is where you can use the Gen AI to help you to do it. So you can look into here. What we are doing here is to create a knowledge article using the Now Assist to generate the article to resolve the case accordingly. So that is where I use ServiceNow to help me create the knowledge article. While drafting this article itself, it will help to do the knowledge needed for me to respond accordingly. And this is an example of me using all the different knowledge articles references in the database and the cases that is there for me to reply accordingly, right? So that is one way of doing it. But let's say you have a more concise manner. That means that for this specific customer, there's these 3 cases that has been done previously, and I want to use the context of these 3 cases to suggest a knowledge article to resolve accordingly. That is where you can go into that from here. Okay. So let me just keep a few things. So as mentioned before, you can see that I can select the different cases that is of when I create a knowledge article, referencing the right knowledge article. Let's say I'm using these four cases context to create the articles accordingly. And that's when the knowledge article can be generated and attached to the case from there to actually send it off to the customer from there. All right. So that's really it from a Gen AI perspective on how we can actually use on ServiceNow to resolve all these problems from there. And that's really it. So just a summary, generative AI with ServiceNow right now is focused on 2 main points. One is on self-service, where we look at AI intelligent search on giving you the answers based on the different knowledge articles in your system itself. Secondly, the virtual agent of using Gen AI to understand the different contexts. At the same time, understanding the different text that it comes in, it helps to answer the different forms that you have. That's part 2. Right, in the second part, what I've shown you is in the workspace itself. I think there's 3 things that we have shown you. Firstly is how can we look at chat summarization and case summarization on ServiceNow. And at the same time, when we look into the recommendations and reply, we've actually seen how the workspace is able to use that from there. And last but not least, on the knowledge article standpoint, you are able to generate knowledge articles based on context on a few cases or from an overall case and knowledge articles database itself to give you the right resolutions to your customers accordingly. And with that, that's really the summary of what ServiceNow Gen AI can do today. Thanks for your time. And Jonathan, back to you.
Hey, thank you. All the questions coming in. For some of you, I indicated that I will reply to you live. So now we have another 15 minutes, which we may not use, but at least to answer some of your questions. If you still have questions, you can continue to post. And even if we cannot address all of them by the end of this session, we will make sure to come back to you. So I see Gary has answered another question, so thank you. All right, so let me take them one by one. So what are the main challenges in moving from a traditional on-prem setup to a cloud-based contact center, and how they can be addressed? Anyone wants to take this, Max, Gary? Otherwise, I can take it as well. I'll start with this one. So main challenges is obviously when you are on the on-premise system, you have a lot of legacy. What we are trying to do every time that we work on the migration to the cloud is to be agile and to be fast. Some of the projects actually we are able to deploy within a few weeks. So it's really like maybe 2-3 months project to shift to the cloud. What we try to do also is not to copy paste something that you have created on premise and just move it to the cloud, because some of the time you will have the same outputs on premise and cloud. Obviously, cloud you have additional benefits with AI and things like this. But if your process, you are not leveraging on what the new technology can do to adjust your process, you're not going to get the benefits. So I think the first really challenge is to identify, like, come back to your business objective, what you are intending to solve, and how you're going to leverage on technology that happen to be on the cloud for more computing power, for more possibility with AI to solve those business challenges.
Maybe I can add on a little bit, Jonathan, on this question on main challenges in moving from traditional on-site to cloud-based. In one of the use case that we have from a customer who was moving from really, being on-prem for the last 20, 30 years of their operation and then moving to a cloud, on an operation point of view, we had asked, during our first workshop, a discovery workshop that we did with them and our consultants, is what are your pain points, and what are you trying to achieve? And one of the things that they were saying is their customers was saying that, it was really a pain in trying to go through the IVR and things like this. We were trying to, while in the process of trying to move their internal current processes on an on-prem system, which is very different from a cloud solution, that was actually one of the challenges internally. The team had not realized that the system of how it works in running or operating a cloud solution is very different from an on-prem solution in configuration standpoint, in processes standpoint, and they have to change their internal process to adapt. And because they were expecting that they were just taking on from A to B. But what I try to explain to them is that when you're taking the process of how it works from a customer point of view versus a back-end point of view, it's really entirely different. Because just like you are operating a car, you expect that if you are operating a petrol car versus a electric car to be exactly the same because they are taking you from point A to point B. But in fact, the maintenance of it, and the operating point of view and how is it being fueled in this case, from that concept of a electric car is really very different from a petrol car. So similarly, it's the same thing in a way, the same analogy for cloud contact center as well. It's really very different in how it's being built on processes, how the call flows are being built, how the integration is being done, and how is it being maintained at the back end. So these are some of the challenges when you move from a user point of view.
Thank you, Ross. So another question is, how long does it take to deploy the AI agent system? I can start to give some of the answers for that. Obviously, it's going to depend of the scope. We have clients, for example, that they had identify a very clear scope. They wanted to use agent assisters to prompt knowledge article from their CRM to the agents during the call. So analyzing what is happening during the conversation and prompt knowledge article. So those scenarios now are like pretty packaged by service now. So there's something that you can deploy quite easily with the collaboration also with the telephony solution. So Amazon Connect in this case. So those kind of use case actually can be deployed pretty fast. We are talking about just a few weeks. Obviously, there is also nowadays more and more complex use case, like the one you've seen on the video, where the AI agent is really able to not only show some results and help the agents with the knowledge, but also propose action. For example, change the knowledge base itself. So those are the use cases that takes a little bit more time to implement, where we need to validate with your processes, the rules, the automation, all of this. And I don't know, why if you want to add something around that.
I think it was perfectly answered. But if I have to add on some stuff, is mainly as we look into contact centers, there's a lot more complex use cases. That's when the Now Assist recently also came out with the skill prompts. So what happens is that you can configure specifically, like, really, it's actually up to your imagination already. Like, what do you want to do? How can you use the prompt skills to take in different data points to help you to give the right answers? That's really the power of it. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. So last one, are these AI agents already trained or will need explicit training once onboarded? Gary, you take this question?
Yeah, sure. So essentially, right, we already have, essentially we already have pre-trained agents since we built the models and all based on the ServiceNow data models, right, and the particular use cases. So like what, as part of the answer of earlier, how long does it take to deploy? Based on your use case, if you are using our out of the box, you literally can click the button and use it immediately. All right. In the best case scenario, right? If you are taking our out of the box, it's virtually as quick as you can turn it on. Okay. So the answer to that question, are they already trained? Yes, they are already trained with our models and our use cases. And if you want to have your own particular use case or your own particular unique industry requirements, then yes, it can still be further enhanced.
Yep, just to add on, remember what Roslyn talked about, problem versus features. So do remember, don't jump into features like, oh, we can do reply recommendations immediately and deploy, right? Based on what I work with a lot of customers in the enterprise space, it's really identify that problem like, okay, using Gen AI, we are able to resolve, like, example, self-service use case itself. And that will help you justify for more dollars in terms of getting the project approved for the next budgetary year and stuff like that. This would really help when you have a main goal in mind. I'll be honest here, based on what I've seen, features, a lot of customers are saying, yes, we're interested, but in the end, who really deployed it? It was just a question to me at that point of time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good conclusion. Really driving the business outcome is essential. So stamping into any transformation project, making sure of what we are trying to achieve in terms of KPI for the customer service, in terms of automation, how are we going to measure the success of this project? It's really important to collaborate together on that and see also what are the opportunities to start small, to try, and then to scale when we see success. So I think we addressed all the questions for today, and I didn't see any drop in the audience along this presentation. So thank you very much. I really hope that you found value out of today's webinar. If you have other questions, feel free to reach out. All right. So feel free to scan the QR code if you'd like to discuss more with our team or have other questions. Feel free to approach us. So we hope to see you soon, and we wish you a very nice day. Thank you very much.